Hi everyone. As I'm looking down, I'm just waiting for people to join in slowly. Today I want to talk about liquid funds. This is something you guys have been asking me to talk about. So today I thought I will talk about liquid funds and why we should use liquid funds for emergency funds. What are liquid funds? Liquid funds na என்னது? இங்க பண்ணணும் liquid funds. எப்படி பணம் போடணும் liquid fundsல? liquid funds நம்ம எப்படி choose பண்ணணும்? எதுக்கு liquid funds நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணுறோம்? அதெல்லாம் இன்னைக்கு பேசலான்னு இருக்கேன். சரி, எப்படியாவது கஷ்டப்பட்டு முக்கி தமிழ்லேயே பேசலான்னு இருக்கேன். ஏன்னா நிறைய பேர் வந்து தமிழ்லே கேட்டிருக்கீங்க இதை. ஸோ தமிழ்லேயே பேசிட்டா ஒரே கல்ல ரெண்டு மாங்கான்னு ஐ ஹோப். தமிழ் மட்டமாக இருந்தால் திருப்பி இங்கிலீஷில் இன்னொன்று நாளைக்கு வாசிக்கிறேன். லிக்விட் ஃபண்ட்னா என்னது? லிக்விட் ஃபண்ட் வந்து நம்ம டெட் மியூச்சுவல் ஃபண்ட்ஸோட ஒரு கேட்டகரி. டெட் ஃபண்டில் வந்து யூஸ்வலாக மியூச்சுவல் ஃபண்ட்ஸ்லாம் வந்து ஈக்விட்டி மார்க்கெட்டில் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க. சரிங்களா? அவங்க பணத்தை எடுத்து ஸ்டாக் மார்க்கெட்டில் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஆனால் இதுலேயே வந்து மியூச்சுவல் ஃபண்ட்ஸ் வந்து டெட் ஃபண்டுன்னு இருக்குது. அதில் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா இதுமாரி பாண்டு, கார்பரேட் பாண்டு, ஃபிக்ஸட் டெபாசிட்ஸ், சர்டிஃபைட் டெபாசிட்ஸ்லாம் பணம் போடுவாங்க. அதுலேயே ஒரு இன்னொன்று கேட்டகரி இருக்குது, லிக்விட் ஃபண்ட், டெட் ஃபண்ட்ஸில், டெட் மியூச்சுவல் ஃபண்ட்ஸில். அதில் வந்து ஷார்ட் டேர்ம் ஹை குவாலிட்டி டெட் மணி மார்க்கெட் இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்ட்ஸில் போடுவாங்க. அதெல்லாம் என்னது? ட்ரெஜரி பில்ஸ், டி பில்ஸ், ஷார்ட் டேர்ம் கவர்மெண்ட் செக்யூரிட்டிஸ், மெச்சூரிட்டி லெஸ் தென் இயர். சரிங்களா? virtually considered risk free. அது ரெண்டாவது கமர்ஷியல் பேப்பர், சிபி, ஷார்ட் டேர்ம் ப்ராமிசரி நோட்ஸ். சரிங்களா? பெரிய பெரிய கம்பெனிங்க வந்து கிரெடிட் நோட்ஸ் கொடுத்துருப்பாங்க ஒர்க்கிங் கேபிட்டல் நீட்ஸை மீட் பண்ணதுக்கு, கமர்ஷியல் பேப்பர்ஸ். அது மூணாவது வந்து சர்டிஃபிகேட்ஸ் ஆஃப் டெபாசிட்ஸ், சிடிஸ். இது வந்து பேங்க்ஸ் கொடுப்பாங்க, யூஸ்வலி அட் அ ஹையர் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் ரேட் தென் சேவிங்ஸ் அக்கௌண்ட், ஃபிக்ஸ்ட் டேர்ம் டெபாசிட்ஸ். அது ஸோ these are all safe, stable. சரிங்களா? In terms of returns, interest rate, they may not offer great interest rate, but they offer safety. So idan liquid funds. Is this SEBI regulation irukka? Yes, SEBI வந்து it's regulated strictly. All securities in liquid fund portfolio must have a maturity no more than 91 days. That means அதில் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ண டெட் லிக்விட் ஃபண்டில் இருக்க பணத்தை நீங்கள் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணது, செக்யூரிட்டிஸ் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணதில், இந்த டெட் ஃபண்ட்ஸில் நான் சொன்ன டெட்ஸ்லாம் நீங்கள் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணது வந்து வித்தின் 91 days தே ஷுட் மெச்சூர். ஸோ இந்த ஷார்ட் டேர்ம் மெச்சூரிட்டி இருக்கிறதுனால dramatically reduces the risk, interest rate risk, it dramatically reduces that. So market rate change மாறினாலும் அண்டர்லைங் இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்ட் யூஸ்வலி மெச்சூர்ஸ், மீனிங் சீக்கிரம் அவங்க பணம் கையில் வர்றதுனால and it's reinvested in new rate. Market interest rate cycles really doesn't affect you as much as other instruments. And also make sure உங்க பணம் வந்து it's not locked in for long term bonds which may lose value if rates start going up. So ஒரு interest rateல நம்ம பாண்ட் வாங்கியிருக்கோம்னா மார்க்கெட்ல இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் ரேட் ஏற ஆரம்பிச்சிருச்சுன்னா this bond becomes less valuable. This will not happen in liquid funds. They keep maturing. SEBI has said within 91 days these have to mature. So how are the NAVs calculated? Net asset value. That's very simple. The total value of all the securities held in the fund minus expenses divided by the actual number of units issued is the NAV. இதில் என்ன டிஃப்ரென்ஸ் இதுக்கும் ஈக்விட்டி மியூச்சுவல் ஃபண்டுக்கும் NAVனா, price movement on these liquid fund NAVs move very small compared to equity market NAVs. Market crash ஆகும்போது mutual fund NAVs can move dramatically. Liquid fund NAVs do not move like this. They're pretty slow and they increase little by little on a daily basis because you're earning interest on a daily basis. Why do we look at this? Because redemption, meaning பணம் வெளில எடுக்குது லிக்விட் ஃபண்ட்லேருந்து ரொம்ப ஈஸி. யூஸ்வலி T+1 டேலே பே அவுட் வந்துடும். தட் மீன்ஸ் இன்னைக்கு நீங்கள் ரிக்வெஸ்ட் கட் ஆஃப் டைம் ப்ரொவைடிங் சொன்னீங்கன்னா நாளைக்கே உங்கள் அக்கௌண்ட்டுக்கு பணம் வந்துடும், சேவிங்ஸ் அக்கௌண்ட்டை கிரெடிட் ஆகிடும் நீங்கள் என்ன ரிடீம் பண்ணுறீங்களோ. சில ஃபண்ட் ஹவுசஸ் வந்து இன்ஸ்டன்ட் ரிடப்ஷன் கொடுப்பாங்க, 50,000 ரூபாய் இல்லாட்டா 90% ஆஃப் யுவர் இன்வெஸ்டட் அமௌண்ட் which ever is lower உங்கள் அக்கௌண்ட்டுக்கு வித்தின் மினிட்ஸே இம்ஸ் மூலமாக இல்லை யூபிஐ மூலமாக கிரெடிட் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஸோ ஒரு எமர்ஜென்சிக்கு வந்து கிவிங் குவிக் ஆக்சஸ் டு மனி வித்தவுட் பெனல்ட்டி, these funds are very useful, liquid funds. ஆனால் லிக்விட் ஃபண்டுனா ஸ்டாக் மார்க்கெட் லிக்விடிட்டி க்கும் டிஃபரன்ஸ் இருக்கு. லிக்விட் ஃபண்ட் அண்ட் ஸ்டாக் மார்க்கெட் லிக்விடிட்டிக்கும் பெரிய டிஃபரன்ஸ். ஸ்டாக் மார்க்கெட்டில் நம்ம லிக்விடிட்டின்னு சொல்லும்போது இட் இஸ் ஹவு ஈஸி இட் இஸ் டு பை அண்ட் செல் அ ஷேர். இன் ஸ்டாக் மார்க்கெட் இஸ் கால்ட் லிக்விடிட்டி. லிக்விட் ஃபண்டில் லிக்விடிட்டி நம்ம சொல்லும்போது லிக்விட், the word liquid நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணும்போது is used differently. That means how fast நீங்கள் போட்ட investment வந்து converts to cash, how quickly you can convert it to cash. So there's a slight difference between both. So keep also that in mind. When we talk about stock market liquidity, liquid small cap companies, liquid fund சொல்லும்போது it's different. It is how fast you get cash in your account. So ஏன் liquid funds தூக்கி நம்ம எமர்ஜென்சி ஃபண்ட்ஸ் தூக்கி லிக்விட் ஃபண்ட்ஸில் போடுறோம்? பிகாஸ் த ஹோல் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் எமர்ஜென்சி ஃபண்ட்ஸ்னால் டக்குன்னு பணம் தேவைப்படும் போது we should be able to pull it out. And like I said, T+1 day, illata some companies offering the redemption, instant redemption, at least 50,000 rupees immediately, without penalty, without a lock-in period, without breaking, like ஒரு FDO உடைக்கிற மாதிரி அந்த பெனல்ட்டிலாம் இல்லாமல் quickly withdraw your money in true emergencies, like a medical, car repair, sudden travel, all these creating these emergencies, you'll be able to pull the money out of a liquid fund fast. That is the main reason when you look at liquid fund. So, ஒரே நிமிஷம் ஃபோன் அடிக்கிறார். பிரகாஷ், வீடியோ லைவ்ல இருக்கு, ஏதாவது அர்ஜென்ட்டா? சரி, நீ ஸ்டூடியோக்கு வா, நான் முடிச்சுட்டு பேசுகிறேன். So, why is this looking at liquid funds rather than keeping money in savings account? Savings account la India la upadike average interest rates, if you look at, is between 2.5 to 3% annum. Sometimes 3.5-4% depending on private banks la ungalku kudupanga, depending on the type of customer you are. But most liquid funds market la interest rate it gives better than that. You get 4 to 6% per annum. Seringla, depending on which liquid fund you are investing in. ஸோ ஒரு 5 lakh எமர்ஜென்சி ஃபண்ட் எடுத்து நம்ம சேவிங்ஸ் அக்கௌண்ட்டில் 3% போட்டிங்கன்னா ஒரு வருஷத்துக்கு 15,000 ரூபா. இதே ஒரு லிக்விட் ஃபண்டில் 5% இருந்ததுன்னா தட் இஸ் 25,000 rupees. 10,000 rupees extra getting for parking your money smartly. So that is the reason why we look at liquid funds. Then savings account. So emergency fund தூக்கி இதில் போடுறது மெயின் ரீசன் வந்து at least it gives you better returns. So of course உடனே ஆர்கியூ பண்ணுவீங்க, ஐடிஎஃப்சி பேங்க்கில் 7% தராங்க சேவிங்ஸ் அக்கௌண்ட்டுக்கு, அதில் நிறைய கண்டிஷன்ஸ்லாம் இருக்குது. அண்ட் தட் கேன் ஆல்சோ சேஞ்ச். அக்கௌண்ட் ஓப்பன் பண்ணும்போது ஃபஸ்ட்டு 6 monthsக்கு நாங்கள் 7% தருவோம், அதுக்கப்புறம் 1 year கழிச்சு இவ்வளோ ரெடியூஸ் பண்ணிடுவோம். ஸோ ஆல் தோஸ் திங்ஸ் ஆர் ஆல்வேஸ் தேர். திஸ் இஸ் நாட் தேர் இன் லிக்விட் ஃபண்ட்ஸ். வாலட்டிலிட்டி இஸ் ஆல்சோ லோ. லைக் ஐ செட், என்விஏ உங்களோட நெட் ஆசெட் வேல்யூ ரேட் வந்து மூவ்ஸ் இன் ஸ்மால் இன்க்ரிமெண்ட்ஸ், இன் பைசேஸ், not even in rupees day to day, compared to equity, which can have huge volatility. For market crash ஆனாலும் உங்க ஈக்விட்டி வந்து என்ஏவிஸ் கிராஷ் ஆகும்போது லிக்விட் ஃபண்ட்ஸ் வந்து அது மாதிரி கிராஷ் ஆகாது. பிகாஸ் அண்டர்லைங் assets they're invested in, which is treasury bills, commercial papers, all those don't move like stock prices move. And it is a small hedge against inflation. Because inflation வந்து it's at 5%, 6% now, it is doing better than a savings account. Savings account is doing 2 to 3% now. In a liquid fund, it's at least 5%. So instead of losing 2 to 3%, you're only losing about 1%. Though it may not be gaining against inflation, you won't be losing as much as a savings account. Another short-term holding, then it makes sense for liquid funds. Long-term wealth creation liquid funds la போட்டு you cannot create long-term wealth in liquid funds. That is very very important. ஏன்னா நீங்கள் உடனே என்ன நினைப்பீங்கன்னா எல்லாத்தையும் தூக்கி லிக்விட் ஃபண்டில் போடுறேன்னு. No, you won't be beating inflation. So it's only meaningful to keep short-term money in liquid fund. So the risk limitations என்ன இருக்கு? It is not risk-free completely. Nothing in life is risk-free. Every day is a gift, philosophically சொல்லும்போது. So liquid fundல வந்து there are risks, but they are as maybe not as safe as a savings account, but credit risk is possible. It is rare, but it has happened. Like 2019 வந்து IL&FS வந்து டிஃபால்ட் பண்ணும்போது அவங்க டெட் ஆப்ளிகேஷன்ஸ் வந்து they defaulted. It did not affect most liquid funds. Direct impact illa. But some of them did have debt fund holdings in this. They were holding the papers of ILFS. So that time they did have some loss they had to carry. So keep that in mind. And interest rate risk is always there. Short term debt instrumentsல வந்து எஸ் நான் முன்னாடி சொன்னேன் அவ்வளவா எஃபெக்ட் ஆகாது. But some crazy times, sudden changes in interest rates can have a short term impact on your liquid funds. So keep also that in mind. NAVs can dip under market stress. 2020 COVID crash ஆகும்போது when the panic had hit the market, there was liquidity crunch, meaning everybody wanted cash. Big corporate institutions, even small retail investors tried to rush to the market to withdraw their money. Funds were forced to sell securities quickly, sometimes even taking a small loss. ஒரு சின்ன நஷ்டத்துல வித்தாங்க. ஸோ அது விற்கும்போது those small losses were there for people who wanted to encash that day. But if you held it for a few days, it recovered, usually recovers. But like I said, long-term wealth creation kaha liquid funds create. It's only created to try and beat inflation in the short term, so you have somewhere to park some cash, offering something better than savings account. The product is அப்படிதான் அந்த இன்ஜினியரே பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. அந்த ப்ராடக்ட்டை ஸ்டாக் மார்க்கெட்டில் எப்படி இன்ஜினியர் பண்ணாங்கன்னா, சேவிங்ஸ் அக்கௌண்ட் நிறைய பேங்க்ல வந்து சும்மா கேஷ் உட்காந்து இருக்கு, நாங்கள் வந்து இன்னும் ஒரு 2% 3% ஜாஸ்தியாக கொடுத்தோம்னா மேபி இன்வெஸ்டர்ஸ் வில் லுக் அட் கீப்பிங் இன்ஸ்டெட் கீப்பிங் இந்த சேவிங்ஸ் அக்கௌண்ட்டில் உட்காந்து சும்மா அங்கே பணம் தண்டமாக இருக்கிறதுக்கு இங்கே போட்டு வச்சு தே கேன் மேக் அ லிட்டில் மோர் அப்படின்னு ப்ராடக்டை கிரியேட் பண்ணதுனால தான் அப்படி இருக்குது. ஸோ இஃப் யூ லுக் அட் ஒரு 10 lakhs வந்து நீங்கள் மியூச்சுவல் ஃபண்ட் லிக்விட் ஃபண்டில் நீங்கள் பார்க் பண்ணிங்கன்னா 4%, it will grow maybe in 10 years to 14.8 lakhs. But if inflation is at 5.5%, that has taken it to 17 lakhs to keep pace with that cost. So if inflation is at 5.5%, your investment of 10 lakhs in 10 years has to grow at least to 17 lakhs to maintain that purchasing power. And the pana sakti and the pana vikatnala 14.8 lakhs வந்து you're actually losing money. So that is why even if it is 4-5% liquid, there's no point keeping it there. So எப்படி பண்ணணும்னா, once you put 3 to 6 months emergency fund நீங்க வந்து liquid fund வச்சுட்டு பாக்கி இருக்க excess cash எல்லாம் வந்து you should always keep it in equity market. So that is the point of it. So it's like keeping a car in neutral. Yes, car in neutral வச்சிருக்கும்போது it is very safe, but you're not moving anywhere. You're not moving towards your financial goals. Only when you start putting in first gear and driving it, do you start heading towards your financial goals. So remember this. Crisis can happen, like in 2020. Franklin Templeton, India, when they wound up 6 debt schemes, led to severe redemption pressure on those schemes because of a lack of buyers for their debt papers. அது நடக்கும்போது liquidity funds, there was a little bit of a crunch. Market suddenly froze, had an impact on some debt categories. ஏன்னா SEBI has rules to allow temporary redemption halt to protect all investors in crisis. These things are rare. அடிக்கடி நடக்காது. ஆனால் நடக்கும்போது it will remind you that there are no conditions as zero risk. So keep that in mind. So next கேள்வி என்ன வரும்னா, how do we as investors use liquid funds? Well, liquid funds நீங்க எப்படி யூஸ் பண்ணணும்னா, you keep your temporary cash inside the liquid funds. Emergency funds, something you need to only access when in case you need the event. In case of an event, you can park it. So instead of keeping it in savings account and taking 2-3%, you can park your funds, these emergency funds, safely inside these liquid funds. So that is the way you should look at. So anything which is considered an emergency, you can encash it, be it a medical emergency or some other family emergency. You'll be able to pull that out. A job loss side, you need to pay rent, you need to pay school fees, you can withdraw it and use it. Also, இது வந்து lot of you நீங்க கேட்டுருக்கீங்கன்னு, இப்போ ஒரு வெட்டிங் எக்ஸ்பென்ஸ் வர போகிறது 1 yearல, why do I keep the money? You can park it in liquid fund. International travel, you have some cash, and you plan to travel 9 months from now, when you plan to buy your tickets, you can park it in liquid funds. Home loan down payment, you have collected, you have it in your savings account. You don't know which home you're going to buy. You can keep it in liquid fund. So the main thing is they don't have a lock-in period or anything like that, and it's good. And if you look at even taxation, short-term taxation பார்க்கும்போது, it's even better than an FD if you do your tax planning correctly, depending on the tax slab you're on. So this is one great thing with liquid funds. But நான் சொன்னது மாரி, it is not an investment. It is only something better than keeping it in savings account. So நம்ம Tiffin Coffee range investors எப்படி இதை approach பண்ணணும்? Well, let's say நீங்கள் வந்து இன்னைக்கு ஒரு ஸ்டாக் வந்து மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் மாதிரி நல்லா இல்லைன்னு வித்துட்டோம். ஸோ உங்கள் கையில் ஒரு 5 lakhs இருக்குது. அந்த 5 lakhsல வந்து நம்ம Tiffin Coffee ரேஞ்சில் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ண போகிறோம் நீங்கள் டிசைட் பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா, யூ கேன் லீவ் இட் இன் லிக்விட் ஃபண்ட். அண்ட் அப்பப்போ நீங்கள் தேவைப்படும் போது நீங்கள் அந்த லிக்விட் ஃபண்ட்லேருந்து எடுத்து வித்ட்ரா பண்ணி யூ கேன் கண்டினியூ இன்வெஸ்டிங் இன் Tiffin Coffee ரேஞ்ச் இஃப் தட் இஸ் சம்திங் யூ வாண்ட் டு டூ. பட் ஐ அட்வைஸ் யூ டு டூ தட். நோ, ஐ வுட் சே அந்த 5 lakhs நீங்கள் பாண்ட் வாங்கிட்டு பாண்ட் வர இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட்லேருந்து. பட் சம் ஆஃப் யூ மைட் ஃபீல் எனக்கு வந்து பாண்ட் தேவையில்லை, ஐ ராதர் move all of it slowly to equity. Fair enough. This is something you can do. Another approach can be also, suddenly ஒரு emergency வந்துடுது, 2 lakh medical bill. So instead of selling some stocks and trying to take a gold pledge, you can use your liquid funds, dip into that and take it out also. So they offer safety, stability and easy access. But how to choose liquid fund? The key important thing is to look at expense ratio. And why does expense ratio matter? ஏன்னா ரிட்டர்ன்ஸ் கொடுக்கதே வந்து ஒரே நிமிஷம். ஹலோ, சொல்லுங்கப்பா. ஓகேப்பா, நான் ஆஃபீஸில் இருக்கேன், ஒரு காலில். ஒரு 1 hourல ஃபோன் பண்ணி நான் தரேன். ஆமாம். Service code. Sorry. I finished servicing. He wants a service code. I told him to call me in an hour. Because I think that's how long it will take me to finish this. So, expense ratio பாருங்க. ஏன்னா கிடைக்க ரிட்டர்ன்ஸே வந்து 3 to 6% annually-னா, then expense ratio makes a huge difference. For example, ஒரு கணக்கு போட்டு வச்சிருக்காங்க. ஒரு ஃபண்ட் ஹவுஸ் வந்து ஃபண்ட் ஏ இருக்கு. They return 5% தராங்க. ஆனால் எக்ஸ்பென்ஸ் ரேஷியோ 0.15%னா, சாரி 0.15%னா your net return வந்து 4.85%. ஃபண்ட் பி வந்து 5% வந்து அவங்க எக்ஸ்பென்ஸ் ரேஷியோ வந்து 0.5. தட் மீன்ஸ் your net result is 4.5. ஆனால் ஓவர் டைம் நீங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா this 0.25 வந்து it adds into a lot of money. So always try to find the one which is the lowest expense ratio. Second thing you should check is the credit quality. Liquid fund, where are they investing this short-term debt in securities? Are they investing in AAA securities? சரிங்களா? Are they avoiding chasing slightly higher returns with lower rating? சரியா? That means அவங்க ரொம்ப ரிஸ்கியா அவங்க இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்றாங்க. So check the fund or a fact sheet எடுத்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா it will tell you credit profile, aim of the fund, 100% sovereign, இந்த பேப்பர்ஸ் AAA ரேட்டர்ஸ்ல இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்றாங்களா? அப்புறம் வந்து past performance பாருங்க. Are they offering stability over flashy returns? If you're looking for a slight flat to a slight upward trajectory in the NAV chart with no spikes, if there are spikes inside that NAV chart, that means the guy is looking for flashy returns. Or வந்து தேவையில்லாம ரிஸ்க் எடுக்கிறதுன்னு அர்த்தம். So you should avoid ones like that. And the fourth thing I'll say is you should look at asset under management. If it has a huge base of asset under management, அப்படின்னா நிறைய பேர் அவங்களை ட்ரஸ்ட் பண்ணுறாங்க. That fund manager இந்த fund house ட்ரஸ்ட் பண்ணுறாங்க. What is considered too small? Anything less than 500 crores is considered too small. சரிங்களா? At the same time, if something is, let's say 50,000 crores or more, it means it's very big. So it may not be offering returns in percentage wise very good. So sweet spot is somewhere in the mid to large range asset under management இருக்கணும். So it's healthy, consistent inflows இருக்கணும், consistent outflows இருக்கணும். So this is some of them. Some of the most famous ones is SBI Liquid Fund இருக்கு, which has a large asset management, conservative portfolio, low expense ratio. Nippon India Liquid Fund இருக்கு, அவங்க வந்து AAA, a lot of AAA they invest in. அப்புறம் HDFC ஓடதும் இருக்கு. So these are some of the famous liquid funds here in India. Taxation எப்படின்னா, this is falls into the rule of short term capital gains, STCG. So if you look at your personal tax slab பார்த்து இதை வந்து நீங்க keep in mind. So if your tax slab is 30%, this will of course affect, because it will directly hit you. So keep this in mind. Of course, long-term capital gains really won't come into play here. You will not be holding these for a long term. But if you do hold this for more than 3 years, then you get into long-term capital gains, which you can sit and calculate. So this is how you should look at using liquid funds. I hope this gave you clarity. But if you have lump sum, should you be investing in liquid funds is the question. If you only get a lump sum, I would strongly suggest putting it in bonds and then taking the interest in the bonds and investing into the stock market. Liquid funds are funds which you require in any time from 1 year or less. You should be parking it in liquid funds. Anything more than 1 year, I would suggest 2 years, 3 years plus, you can look at a bond, a short-term bond, and get better interest than a liquid fund. A good bond can give you an interest rate of 10.5%, which no liquid fund can do. So that is the way to look at it. So let me see what questions you guys have before I maybe do a few calls, and then we can wrap up the day. Market, yes. What did Vinod Srinivasan do for Tiffin Coffee today? Vinod Srinivasan for Tiffin Coffee today bought TCS. Why did Vinod Srinivasan buy TCS today? Because Shashwat, his nephew, told him, Mama, let us buy TCS today. I said, okay, Shashwat, since you have analyzed it, I will buy TCS. Yes, there are certain IT companies which are in range of value buying right now. But my advice would be to buy it 1 or 2 here and there, and buy it in small Tiffin Coffee range, and not to go overzealous and romba vaangadinga. TCS is definitely out of my Tiffin Coffee range budget. But because my nephew leaned on me hard today, I went and bought one TCS. And that was it for the day. I could not buy anything else. For TCS வாங்கிறதுக்குள்ளே ஹையான ஆயிடுது. ஏன்னா 3000 ரூபாய் ஒரு ஸ்டாக்கு. So keep that in mind. So TCS was my Tiffin Coffee for the day. I'm curious to know what your Tiffin Coffee for the day was. Let's see some interesting comments have been floating here on the side. Let us see what we have. Tiffin Coffee, Ram Kumar, I've answered Tiffin Coffee. Since bonds can be risky without proper knowledge like liquidity, why should a beginner like me just stick to FDs? Shouldn't. Okay, it's me, Bala. Correct. You can stick to FDs and you can stick to what you feel is safe. But what do you know about FDs is a question. You will say, my father and mother and my grandfather have been doing it, so I'm doing FDs. That is not knowing and being safe. That is just following the herd. So Bala, what you should do is you should start learning and educating yourself, not listening to Vinod Srinivasan or Anand Srinivasan or anybody. You should educate yourself and find out what is the best ways to invest money. Read, understand, ask questions, and then Bala, you should do what is correct for you. If I was you, and if I didn't want to invest in bond and it's feeling risky, I would then not keep it in FD for short term. I would rather keep it in liquid funds. But then again, it all depends on how long you want to keep it in parked inside these liquid funds. Short term makes sense, but not anything more than that. But my advice to you is, படிக்க கற்றுக்குங்க, அனலைஸ் பண்ண கற்றுக்குங்க, அதுக்கப்புறம் கான்ஃபிடன்ஸ் வர வர பொறுமையாக முதுவாக இங்கே இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணலான்னு எக்ஸ்ப்ளோர் பண்ணுங்கள் பாலா. சரிங்களா? பயப்படுறதுக்கு ஒன்றும் கிடையாது. Nagraj. Hi Vinod. Sketchers stocks. Your opinion. Sell or partially sell, your opinion. Sketchers is a great company. But right now I have to see where the price is. And I don't know where Sketchers price is right now. The last I saw, they were trading pretty fairly, if I remember right. And I don't know where they are sitting right now. Let me see. Where is Sketchers sitting? Mm, 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 mm. Sketchers. Oh, there we go. Where we go? There we go. Sketchers. Well, they're trading at almost $60. They were great value. The last time I was looking at it was just a few months back. In April, March, they were in great value. And I would hold on to it. Sketchers. I would not be eager to sell it unless you need the cash. So Nagraj, I don't know. If you need the cash or you find some other better place to invest, then you can sell Sketchers and looking into investing it. Darshan, sir, can you tell me about credit rating of bonds provided by your company? Depends, Darshan, which bond. The whatever my RM is communicating you, the ratings of the bond should be there. It will be written there, and you can see. And if it's not there, please call your RM and ask them where is the credit rating, and they'll explain it to you. Credit rating is very simple, but a credit rating is not a guarantee. Remember that. Please understand what credit rating is, and then also understand what kind of a bond it is, secured, unsecured, how it's secured. So Darshan, that's a good question, and definitely you should ask them to provide you the credit rating of the bond, and it should be there in the prospectus. If it's not there, then you should definitely ask them for it. Whoever your RM is, because each bond has a different credit rating. Arbitrage or liquid fund based on taxation terms. I would stick to liquid funds. If you're asking me, Prasad Krishnan, for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 month, I would stick to liquid funds. And let's slide down further. What do we have? Health insurance. Jason is asking which one would you suggest health insurance? HFC, Tata, ICICI, Cholamandalam, Bajaj. And get a personal now, I have Tata AIG as my health insurance. I like them. I like the coverage. It is a little more expensive compared to everybody else, but their claim ratio is very good. That means most people who have made claims to Tata AIG, and it's been a fair claim, they have honored it and paid it out. So I feel they're a fair insurance agency, even if they're a little more expensive compared to the competition. So I personally use Tata AIG. I hope that helps, Jason. And can we do 10K per month in US stocks just as a hedge like gold to boost? No, Aditya. Ram Mohan, do not do 10K in US stocks. If you're looking at investing in US stocks, 50,000 போட பாருங்க இல்லாட்டா Indian equities-ல இருங்க. And like I said, you just don't take a hedge for no reason. சரிங்களா? Just in case you don't buy something and keep it. Right? It has no use to me. For example, buying, an ice cream maker is no use to me. I don't eat ice creams, nor do I plan to make and sell ice creams. Just buying it and keeping it as a hedge in case someday I might need ice creams. So, does US market and Japanese stock market play into your larger goal where you plan to be 10, 15 years from now? Are you planning to go abroad? நீங்க வெளில போய் படிக்க போறீங்க, or you got kids who are going to go abroad, அவங்க வெளில போய் படிக்க போறாங்க, or I plan to move abroad. Those are all valid reasons. Then you require that kind of investment and a portfolio outside, then it makes sense. Otherwise, if you're planning to be in India for the next 10, 15 years, Indian stock market is where you should be, and that's where you should be investing. Now you've invested a lot of money, you have a huge amount of capital in India, then you can venture out. Okay, India la nariya irukku, so I'm hedging. Then okay, I understand. But without all that information, 10,000 rupees in the US stock market will not be a hedge. Net, you'll end up losing money. With all the conversion and everything put together, the 10,000 rupees you send outside to invest in US stock market will translate into 7,000 rupees, and that will be less than $100. And what are you going to buy for less than $100? So think about it. Hello Earth, please don't spam. I hear you, hello Earth, but calm down. If you spam, I'll have to time you out. And hello Earth, I'm going to time you out now. Please stop spamming, copy pasting repeatedly. So hello Earth, cool off for a while. Overnight fund or liquid fund, it depends on where you want your money, Mr. Hello Earth. I would keep it in liquid funds. I don't use overnight funds. I prefer liquid funds. Like I said, you have to look at asset under management, you have to look at expense ratio, and you have to look at where he's investing. All that makes an important difference to choosing it. So analyze it and then invest. Okay, let's see what else is there. Why not choose mutual fund? You and Anand sir. Then best bond app you suggestion, sir. Manoj, why not choose mutual fund houses? I don't choose Manoj because of expense ratio. அவங்களே வந்து ஸ்டாக் மார்க்கெட்ல தான் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுறாங்க. ஸோ ஒரு அவனோட ஃபேக்ட் ஷீட் எடுத்து பார்த்தா அவன் என்ன ஸ்டாக்ல இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுறான்னு தெரியும். அது நானே அந்த ஈக்விட்டி போய் நேராக வாங்கலாமே. Why not? And I can make the return myself. I don't like paying someone for something I can do for myself. That's how I am. But I can understand a lot of people don't have time to analyze stocks. They don't understand stock market, or they're not interested in stock markets, so they don't mind outsourcing it, paying it to someone, and they take care of it for them, and they're happy with the returns. So let's say I give 100 rupees, he eats, he makes 10 rupees, and he out of the 10 rupees he makes, he takes 6 rupees and only gives 4 rupees to me. I'm happy with 4 rupees, okay. But I won't be happy, so I don't want to do that. There's nothing wrong in mutual funds as long as it makes sense for you. For me, it doesn't make sense. So that's why me and my brother don't look at it. I'd rather do the hard work myself and invest myself. So that's the way I see it. Zura is asking, as an NRI living in Europe, considering INR depreciating in the euro, shall we invest in Tiffin Coffee? Yes, Durai, you can definitely invest. Sitting in Europe, you don't need to invest in Indian markets unless you require funds in India in some future point of time. Let's say some people எப்படி இருக்குன்னா, I'm living in Europe and I plan to stay in Europe and my kids plan to go to US to study. பட் எங்கள் அம்மா அப்பா வந்து இந்தியாவில் இருக்காங்க. அவங்களோட மெடிக்கல் எக்ஸ்பென்சஸ், அவங்களோட வீடு வாடகை, அதெல்லாம் I have to take care. It is my responsibility, their medical expenses. So what do? I create an Indian account and I invest in Indian bonds, and those monthly returns and everything, it sets up such that they're taken care of. Meanwhile, the rest of it I can look at investing for my retirement in Europe or my children's education in the US. So you can split it up. There is no thing like you must invest in India. That's what I said. You have to see where your life is, where you want to go, where you want to settle down. Based on that, you should invest. I hope that makes sense, Durai. Jaffer, South Indian Bank, ITBs for today's Tiffin Coffee. Nice, Jaffer. Those are good choices. Are you using a MacBook Air M4, Vinod sir? No, I'm not using a MacBook M4. I am using a MacBook. There we go. This is my MacBook. And it is an old MacBook Pro. I think it's an M1. I don't know how that helps you, but okay, that helps you. And the mic which I'm using is HoloLand, and it's an Insta360 Go 3S camera, which is plugged into my USB-C. And that is my setup currently, with some studio light which the boys are using. I've just turned it on and I'm sitting here. Godox. That is written on the side. Godox lights. I hope that helps you. Right. Next question. South Indian Bank share goes to 100 in future, Kavin Raj is saying. I do not know, Kavin. It's a good bank and I think it's worthwhile investing right now. So it's a good price. So I'm looking. Will it go to 100? I hope it will. I think it will. When will it go? I have no way of saying. See you, Alin Raj 87. I'm really excited to see you all in Chennai in 23rd August. I'm coming from Canada. I'm so lucky to be doing. Well, my Canadian brother, I'm happy to see you too in Chennai on 23rd. It's in Lady Andal. I think it's already sold out, the event. If I remember right what Bala said. I think we are at 1,000 capacity and we have reached 1,000. So if tickets are still available, you're welcome to buy them and we will see you there. And my Canadian brother, I'm more than happy to meet up and have a chat with you. So do do catch up with me there. Nagraj, can we look at National Aluminum Company? I see value in it, sir. National Aluminum Company. I don't know. I don't see value in it, but let me check. National Aluminum. Nalco. No, man. It's a government company, first of all. And plus, looking at it. I don't know. There's only some FI called Pine Bridge Global Funds. They have bought into it. And they've sold it also. Most of it, all government guys owning it, man. I would not do it. I would give National Aluminum a skip. I don't see it going anywhere. But that's my personal call. Because the government of India, and government of India has more priorities than doing good business. So that's my opinion on National Aluminum. Any view on TSMC? It is hard to understand. Even I work in the software industry. Well, TSMC is a great company and it's very much required for IT processors and chips and computers. And now with AI, it is very much integral for global supply chain of semiconductors. NVIDIA, all of them rely on TSMC. And is it of value right now? That is tough to say because it was at great value some time back and we were looking at it. I think now it's almost reached a point where the value is close to being neutral. I don't know. You can look at TMS, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. You can look at it if you're interested in, if you're investing in American stocks. But I think the latest one which I saw was other one which was competitor to this. All of them have become expensive, man. Even AMD has become expensive. AMD. Yeah, even AMD has become expensive. The problem is there's a bubble in AI, and because of the bubble in AI, all of these semiconductor companies are going through this, being overvalued is what I feel. I would steer clear out of them and keep an eye on other sectors which are offering better value propositions, because all the attention seems to be in AI right now and nothing else is getting attention. It's like Lord of the Rings and the eye on the tower. It fixates on the ring all the time. We've seen the movie. So whenever the eye of Mordor sees the ring, it loses attention on everything else. And that's how the Mr. Market is behaving, anything related to AI. So lots of opportunities in manufacturing, like in FMCG companies and other sectors is where I would keep my attention on. And even Google seems to be ignored by the market compared to everybody else. So if you look at it, Microsoft and Nvidia has captured so much of attention. A company like Google, Alphabet, which is in great value right now, but now that has also become overvalued. It was at great value a month or so back when it was at $145. Now it's slowly creeped up to almost $170. So I don't know. I would not look at TSMC right now. Darshan, how to mitigate the risk of holding bonds for the long run, like liquidity extra? How much to invest? Bond, if you buy the right bond, Darshan, there is no problem on liquidity because when the term of the bond matures, you get your cash back. So நீங்கள் வந்து ஒரு 10 lakhs ஒரு பாண்டுக்கு போட்டு பணம் போட்டு வாங்கியிருக்கீங்க ஒரு பாண்டுனா அந்த இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் வந்துட்டே இருக்கும் 2 yearsல மெச்சூர் ஆகுதா 3 yearsல மெச்சூர் ஆகுதா the 10 lakhs will come back to you. There's no capital gains on the capital when it comes back to you because the interest is charged, the tax is charged on the interest paid to you. So as long as it's a safe bond, it's there. Now talking about risk, everything has a risk in it. That's why you have to be careful on where you buy the bond from and which bond you're buying. So there is nothing, liquidity is, that's why I even say I don't talk about specific bonds on a platform like this because liquidity is a problem in India. It's very easy to go to any platform and buy a bond. The problem is if you want to sell the bond, you have to make sure there's a customer on the other side to buy it. And the Indian bond market, retail participation is slowly increasing. It's maturing, but it's going to take some more time before we reach a point like that. Dev Prasanna, any new book suggestions like the Stoicism book you guys recommended the other day? Oh, I'm reading right now. One is Keen's book. The other one which I'm reading is Seneca's book. Wait, not... Yeah, Seneca's short works which he has done. That is a book which I'm reading, which is also a great Stoic book. But I will try and bring the book tomorrow in the live video and show you guys the books, which I'm currently on my table. I didn't bring it with me. You can, Bharat iPhone, buy any kind of mutual fund on the Ionian app. You can buy any stock, any mutual fund. You just have to search for it and you can buy it. Not a problem. Durai, thank you, sir. I don't have plans to settle in Europe. I will invest now and move my funds later to India instead of sending my monthly Tiffin Coffee. Yeah, you can, Durai. And plans can change. Today you feel like this. By keeping all your funds in Europe, if tomorrow, you do decide to live there, that opportunity is an option is there because your funds are close to you. My thumb rule is always that I keep my money close to me. That means most of my money is here in India because right now I'm in India. I don't plan to go out of India anywhere anytime soon. So I keep it close to me. If I need to move it, I can slowly start moving it. But anyway, what makes sense. What else do we have which is interesting? I'm from Ashwin Shankar. I'm from Berlin, Germany. We have Berlin Tamil Sangam. Most of the gents used to talk about Anand sir in all the events. So please arrange a meetup. Well, Ashwin, I think we're planning to come to Paris and London sometime in November. So that you can, if it's something in your cards and you're willing to travel, maybe Paris or London, you can come and catch us. Of course, once we have done with Singapore, those dates will come. We'll announce those dates, and then definitely you can catch us there. Shall we do some phone calls? You guys are up to doing some phone calls. Let me see the time. Yeah, we can probably squeeze in 20 minutes of calls. One second. I have Prakash with me. He's waiting for me. Let me just find out what Prakash wants. Then we will answer some more questions. Something Anand wanted me to talk to Prakash about. I forget. But anyway. Yeah, Prakash, just give me 2 minutes. Okay, guys. I have to make a move today. So I will do the calls tomorrow and do the phone calls tomorrow and not today because Prakash is waiting for me and I have to get on a call with Anand, who's currently traveling and he's in Tirchi. You guys see Anand in Tirchi, say hi from all of us from the YouTube channel, and make sure Anand feels happy to see us there in Tirchi. Other than that, nothing else to do right now. Other than that, I have to make a move and catch up with Prakash and Anand. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll have what do you call telephone calls tomorrow, and maybe I'll try and bring Shashwat in also and have some fun with having Shashwat also on the channel. I hope I've answered everything about liquid funds. If you have any more questions about liquid funds and how it works, or any other better ideas which you think ways to park funds inside liquid funds in the short term, share it, and we can all learn from it. And I will also definitely answer those questions which I see. Have a great day, guys. It was fun catching up with you as always. Love seeing you guys online and having these kind of conversations. Sorry I couldn't do calls today. I'll try and come back with the telephone calls tomorrow. Thank you.